Alright guys, you're welcome back to the course, and then we'll be going straight into it, just starting off immediately. Alright, we spoke about, the last thing we spoke about was the as you can see in our text file here where we're storing everything. We can see the directory that lists the directory, the directory /a that lists the options and the likes. Alright, so basically I wanted to show us something that would help us just kind of see a graphical representation of how your folder structure is. You know how a tree is such that a tree has a branch, and that branch has branches, and that branch on the branch has branches, and that branch on the branch on the branch has branches, and the likes like that. So I actually ran this in my documents folder, and it went on and on and on and on, and then I actually wanted to run this in my root folder, that's this directory. But the reason why I'm not going to run it here is because it's going to be very slow. You know what, let's just run it there. Let's just run it. So the command is tree, which basically runs and lists them. Just see that it's going, see how fast it's moving, and right, it's relatively fast. When I meant slow, I meant that it would take forever to completely show us the tree. No, that is just something crazy. Let's enter it into here. That's completely crazy. It's just, now why that might be wonderful to watch, we have to go. So just cancel that. What I just did was I just pressed Ctrl C. So to cancel any command that is ongoing, you can just press Ctrl C, and that exits out of the command, cancels the command. It works for almost every, I think it works for everything. Actually, it works for everything. Actually, it helps to just cancel a particular ongoing command. If you wanted, you can run this thing and leave it in your directory and have it run on and on and on and on and on and on. But you are seriously going to get tired at a point, unless you can just plug your laptop in and have the command running continuously. So there's also something else that could be very good. In the Linux terminal, to see the history of the shell, we'll press something such as this history, and it will give us all the commands that we've put into the system so far since we've opened it. I don't know if it does sessions, but I know that the Windows command prompt does sessions. What do I mean by it does sessions? So for instance, if I open the terminal yesterday and did various things there, when I open it today, I won't see the history for yesterday. I'll just see the history of what I've done so far today. So how do we see this history? There's no particular command. We just scroll up and down, tree, CLS, history. So that's basically what we'll do. That's basically what it's just used to do. So let's just note it down that I've spoken about it. Scroll up or down, history. Alright, so that's basically it about it. There's no big deal to it. Okay, so the next thing that I actually want to show us is this. Now I think this is a good directory for us to be able to test this command. Now if we run dir, we all know what it brings for us. It gives us all the folders. Then when we run dir/a, that gives us all the folders including the hidden ones. This is the space taken up by the files. Then we have 69 directories, and we have this free. So that's basically that. But now, what if we wanted to find specific files that have a specific extension? We just want to find all the pictures that are saved as .png, or we want to find all the pictures saved as .jpeg, or all the documents saved as text files. So what we simply do is dir star. Now if you know star very well, if you have encountered star very well, it's just something that we use. So in a Python console, terminal, program, whatever, what we'd simply do is from X import all. So this imports everything that is inside a particular module such that we can use it as we like in the program. Now, so that is what this means. It means find randomly every file that ends with this particular extension. Sorry, not JPF, JPG. Alright, so he's saying I can't find any, but I'm very sure I have pictures. It's just basically that it's not able to cross into directories. It looks for it in that directory. And yes, basically we know that directories are inside this user directory, and it should be able to, but it isn't able to find them inside it. So we have to go to a place where we can actually see those files that end with this any particular extension that we want. So we just simply go to documents. Let's look for something there. I don't have any picture in documents, so let's look for documents. Okay, docx. Alright, so we see that we have references.docs, and then the fact is I have more files than this in my documents folder. Let's just try to see which files I have there. So I have a PDF file here. I have a SPV file here for SPSS. I have mobilize. I have readme.txt. So if we try that with text, let's see what it's going to bring for us. txt. Okay, so it brings the Corel Draw graphics, blah blah blah. It brings the readme.txt. So basically it's able to work like that. So let's go into the pictures folder and see what we can load up from there. Okay, let's see. Alright, so let's just show that this actually does work on pictures too. Okay, the thing with, as I previously said, and I hope we got it, but let me just say it again, the thing with it is it can always see files that are inside a particular directory. For instance, we are inside the pictures directory now, so it can see this download one file, and then this download.jpg file, and then this image whatever. You can see all those files that are outside, but files that are inside something like camera roll or design it will not be able to see. Let me just show you what I mean. Okay, so remember the scroll up history. I'm just scrolling to JPEG, and then you see it brought those 3 files that are there. But then the fact is, let's go into design it and let me show you that I actually do have other picture files there, and that the whole thing is just behaving crazily. Okay, so now we're in design it. Let me show you that I have other files there. Look, I have a lot of files there because it's my storage folder for stuff that I design. So let's run that same command here now, and you see it's bringing a whole lot of files. So basically the command can't work as per directories, so it looks for those files inside a particular directory. It doesn't go around checking through your system looking for all of them. I believe that there should be a what's it called I believe that there should be a kind of command or an option that we can add to that helps us to bring it up such that we can actually search for the file within the whole system, files that end with such an extension. Now the next thing I'll be going to is basically this. Okay, let's just go to the desktop quickly. Okay, CD. Let's go to the desktop. Alright, so we are now on the desktop. So next thing I'll be going to is a way. You see, I understand that a lot of us probably would have looked at how I can remember all these commands and how what they do and their functions and the likes. But now, well, the first thing is, well, it's a principal rule of programming these days. While it's important for you to know some things, there are some things that you just won't know even if you try to know, at least from the beginning. There are some things that you learn along the line, so you just have to trust in the formative process that you'll be able to get those things along the line. But then the thing is, that's why number one, you have Google so you can search, especially when you are debugging certain applications or programs and the likes. You of course, okay, for instance, there are times when I'm bugging Python programs and then I just see okay, syntax error. Okay, I definitely know that something is wrong with the Python syntax that I wrote, what I passed into the program. Or maybe I see something like EOL scanning error. I know that there's something wrong with the syntax. Basically, I know that I know what could be wrong, but I don't know what exactly is wrong. So then it brings something like maybe non-local bound error, global error, referenced, a variable is referenced before it is assigned, and stuff like that. So basically what I do at that point is, well, originally when I first saw this error, what I did was I went on Google, searched around, took me to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow is very important for you guys if you are going to be developing. There is just a way in which people just keep answering questions concerning things. You can have an account, push your questions there and the likes. People answer it for free, nothing. Then you can maybe email certain developers that you trust. You can email me, but I'm not that amazing yet. I'm just doing what I can. But the thing is, there's also GitHub. There are some questions answered there. But basically, the fact is, Google is so amazing now that it has an amazing artificial intelligence program that just puts in the details and then it loads it up. You might have noticed it with sometimes when you wanted to download a song and you didn't particularly know the name of the song, but you just enter the lyrics of the song and then just put mp3 download, and then it just searches through the whole thing at light speed and then just gives you a result. And then before you know it, you've got the song and then you know the title and you'll be able to download it. So Google is that amazing. So just put in the particular problem that because that's the amazing thing that they've done for us, such that every system that we use now has a method in which we can, okay, this is the error that went wrong with it, okay, let me put it in now. But then there was something that I actually did some time ago, that I made an exception catcher in Python. So it's in most languages. You have the try catch statement, raise statement, and the likes. So I was doing a try except statement, and then that basically caught the error. So the terminal came up and then it just kept blinking like this cursor like thing is blinking, just kept blinking. I was like, why is the program not working? So when I removed my try except statement, then the errors came. So that's something you have to be careful about actually. Well, try and except statement are useful for networking and the likes, but that's for something else. Let's just forget about that completely. So what I was saying was, now in the Linux shell, see, I'm making a lot of reference to the Linux shell because, well, it's out there more, it's used more, it's very important and stuff like that. But it would help you a lot as a developer to, especially if you're going to be using the Windows for now, to learn how to use its terminal very well. So I'm making a lot of reference to that. I know that quite well too. So basically over there we do something like man, which is I like to think it's an abbreviation for manual. Like this, the manual of a particular command, man, then you type the command, blah 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 blah. Or I think the command, then man. Okay, so over here what we do is this. Think of a particular command, dir, then press slash question mark. Now this gives us what the command does. It displays a list of files and subdirectories in a directory. Now these are all the options that you can use. Now slash a displays files with specified attributes. Slash b, so basically that's why this can help us to show every type of file, hidden files, system files. So just basically files needed by your Windows system. Slash b uses bare format, blah 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 blah. So there's basically nothing to it. It's just a way in which you can load up any command. Maybe you've forgotten what to use it for, maybe somebody has told you about a command that really helps them a lot, and then you just want to try it out, or you just want to know it so that you can use it too. Well, you can use, so this is basically you put the command and then space slash / question mark, and that helps you to be able to know what to use it for. Now the last and most amazing thing that I'd actually like to run us through here is this. Now I'd like to show us that we can open any file from the desktop, from the terminal, from the command line interface. Basically how we just do this is basically that we write the name of the file including in its extension on the screen. We type it into a black and white screen. I'll talk about how to change the color. You know, I said experience the power of black and white and stuff like that, but we can actually change the color. Then that will be coming up later. But okay, what was I saying? I was basically talking about how we can call any file and open it from here. Okay, so we are going to be trying that with a number of things. Okay, so and let's just see how it works out. Most importantly, those programs must have a default opener. So those ones that don't have a default opener do not open. That's just how it goes with them. They just do not open. But those ones that do have a default file opener open, and then there are some of them that actually have default file openers, but some of them still don't open. So we're on the desktop. Let's just close this. Alright, let's just put in the name of our executed commands.txt file. Yeah, I knew that would happen. I intentionally did that so that I could show us something. Now if it's a, let's try that with something. See this directory over here, docs movable. Now if we try to move into that, you would notice that the same thing will not be happening. Movable, you see that we're able to move into it with no problem, even though it has a space. Now the problem with this one is that there's a space between it, and as such it's as though it's reading executed as the command, and commands.txt as a kind of option or the file that you want to carry something out of. But now is what we can do. You can't use single columns. Why? Because single columns are more or less like single columns are what is built into the system already. Let me show you what I mean. Now what you have to do is, if you put single columns and you put let me just copy this, don't feel like typing them much. Alright, so let's just copy this and press Ctrl V. So we have it there now. You see, it didn't even, okay, sorry about that. Okay, so executed commands.txt. Alright, so it basically the same thing basically happened, but what we can do such that we can access this file is this: double quotes. Single quotes do not work. So when you make it, doesn't mean you can't make a file with space between it. It just means that you have to use double quotes to call it whenever you want to call it. And when we call this, it works and it loads up the screen. It loads up. So that's basically how to work with that, and then how to be able to call files from the call files by name. Yeah, that's nice. That seems nice. Alright, so that's basically. Now let me show us something too. So I have this folder over here that is jobs. So let's go into that. Remember that it doesn't matter the whether it's a capital letter or a small letter. Now inside here I have a particular picture that I would like to load up. Alright, so here's my picture over here that I would like to load up, and then just show us that it works with this ones too. Okay, so basically it's loading up my Windows Photo Viewer, which is my default program for viewing pictures. So let's see how fast this can load. Alright, so that's me. Then I'm in my hostel back at school, my former hostel. The place is a terrible thing, but that's by the way. Alright, I didn't actually see to the full extent if this worked on videos, but I would like to try this. So let's go into, I have a folder here named U, and then I think I have some videos there. Alright, I think most of those okay, remember that you can just do that, and then let's just move up a bit. Let's pick a particular video. Okay, build beautiful material search app or integrate it with any app. Tutorials are very important. I got this from YouTube from a guy called MTech Viral. Amazing guy, really. it teaches Flutter for free in an amazing way, and you just keep learning a whole lot of stuff. So let's see. Wow, yeah, this is going to open up my, what's it called now, VLC media player, and then you see it works perfectly. So you should be able to open almost any file inside here. Once you just put in the name, that's a git and GitHub tutorial. So basically, once you're able to do that, you're able to basically navigate from anywhere to anywhere within your system, or from, you see, when I said you'd be experiencing the power of black and white and the power of a text-based interface, I know what I was saying. Nobody would have thought this thing was this powerful. So basically put that in mind, and then just make sure that you are using this on a constant basis, because I can promise you, as a developer, you're going to use this very much. A software engineer, a data analyst, you're going to use this a lot. So the fact is, if you are going into Python, if you're going to anything, the fact is, the problem with it is that if you use something like VS Code, most programs install themselves in the path variable, which we'll be talking about, which allows you to run your own installed programs from the terminal. And once you can run it from the terminal, you can run it from another program that can call it. So something like VS Code, this is my VS Code editor over here. Now when you have it, for instance, I use my VS Code editor a lot for Flutter and the likes. So let me just show you. I can call Flutter from here, and then basically Flutter will just load up a lot of commands and stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know why it's that slow. Alright, yeah, so it will just load the type of commands that, this is because it is a user-based app. So that's basically, so once I can call it from here, that means I can use it in another app that has an extension that can call it. So VS Code can call it, that's why I use it in Flutter. But the fact is, I can also use this to create a Flutter project, debug a project, release a project, export it to a phone, Android or iPhone and stuff like that. So all of that is very important for you to know how these things work behind the scene. You see that we could open a video from here, a picture, documents. You will be seeing how we can create files, remove directories. So basically everything that you do with this graphical user interface, this GUI, everything that you can do from here, you can do from here, and everything that you are doing from the graphical user interface, you are actually doing from this text-based command line interface. So everything runs through here. It's what's represented. So basically what just happens is that you do something on your graphical user interface, and there's a logic behind each button you press. So the fact is, more or less everything is a widget, much like in Flutter, or a button, so that when you press it, it runs a particular piece of code that is in the back end through the system, and then it causes something to happen, and then there's a response. Once there's a response for that thing, then it just opens it up in the command line interface, and then it sends that response over to your GUI, and then your GUI knows the next thing to do, like proceeding to a next page in an app or something like that. So that's basically what it's about. So we've learned a lot so far. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next lesson.